Brentford 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2. And that was a tale of two halves. Not a tale of two halves in the sense that one team was good one half and the other team the second half. A tale of two halves in the sense that the first half was very entertaining, a brilliant watch. And the second half kind of petered out, to be completely honest with you guys. I thought first half was absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed the entertainment from both teams. Obviously, it's two teams that actually feeling into this season a little bit. Two teams that have actually gone through quite a lot of change for different reasons. Obviously, Brentford had their change through the likes of David Raya going to Arsenal, who's going to be a massive miss for them, in my opinion. I think David Raya is a fantastic footballer. And then also you've got Ivan Toney. Of course, they have to deal with his ban. They had a few games last season without Ivan Toney and actually performed quite well with Johan Wissa and Brian Mbeumo up front, Brentford. But there's a whole different kettle of fish. Lasting the whole half of a season without Ivan Toney will be very tough for Brentford. Then on the flip side, you've got Tottenham. New manager, Ange Postecoglou. Obviously, Harry Kane's gone off to Bayern Munich. How are they going to compete? And I actually thought Tottenham didn't play too bad. The season with, the start of the season without Harry Kane, a lot of people expecting Tottenham to fly down the table, plummet, just like a rock. But I actually thought Tottenham held their weight. They were actually pretty decent. I thought James Maddison had a fantastic game. Fantastic game in there for his debut. Really clinical on set pieces. I think that he's actually going to help Tottenham. And I said this before, when I was reviewing Harry Kane leaving Tottenham, a lot of people said, oh, it's game over for Tottenham. They're going to go down the table, never going to compete again. And I said, no, it's never as bad as you think. There's two sides to the coin. It's never as good as you think, but it's also never as bad as you think. Yes, with Harry Kane in the Tottenham team, they were fantastic. Like, he was basically their killer in that team. Without Harry Kane in there, you thought, how are they going to win these matches? He was literally the defining point in so many games last season for Tottenham. But when you lose Harry Kane, you've got to find a way to survive. And I think they're going to pick you up with other players around him. I thought Maddison's a fantastic signing. I thought Son's still to come into his own. Obviously, he's become the new captain. Still not quite hit the same heights as not last season, but the season before. Kulusevski, I'm a massive fan of. Obviously, we have to see what Richarlison does now in the limelight, be the number one striker for Tottenham Hotspur. Let's see what they do. Obviously, I don't expect Tottenham to compete anywhere near for the title this season. I don't think they'll get top four either. But the main thing for them is they got a little bit of stability, I believe. I thought Yves Bissouma was fantastic in midfield today, by the way, for Tottenham Hotspur. Yves Bissouma, I mean, obviously, when they signed him from Brighton, I remember my club Arsenal were interested in Bissouma as well, right? I sat there, and when Tottenham signed him, I was like, that's a very good signing. A little bit jealous of that one. And in his first season, he didn't really do much, Bissouma. Didn't do much at all, really. But that first game today, I thought Yves Bissouma was fantastic. An absolute dog in midfield. Win the ball back. And not just win the ball back, progressing with the ball as well. Not being afraid to take people on and charge the opposition. That's really important. If Bissouma can be that new Moussa Dembele for Tottenham Hotspur, they got someone, they got a real star there. Obviously, first season struggled there, but we see this talent at Brighton. We know he's a top player. Obviously, he's had some out of the pitch issues surrounding him with all the stuff going on. Hopefully, that could get cleared for him. So I think he's a really good player right there, Yves Bissouma. Let's get to some of your comments. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat, by the way. I will be streaming later today. It's a bit unfortunate. This stream won't last too long. So obviously, I've got to watch the Liverpool-Chelsea game, but I'll be streaming straight after that. We all know what happened. Water problems at Brentford. What's new with Premier League games, man? Yesterday, we had Arsenal. We had the ticket issues. Today, we've got water problems at Brentford. What's going to happen before the Chelsea game? I don't know. Like, the pitch is going to be waterlogged. Who knows, man? Who knows? Getting Brentford. Yeah, look, I thought Brentford actually played decent as well. Like I said, it's two teams going through a lot of change. Brentford obviously has to adapt to life without David Raya and without Ivan Toney. And I thought they played well as well. And that's a testament to not only Brentford, but Thomas Frank as well. Thomas Frank has built a system, right, where it's plug and play. Whoever's in, whoever's out, they'll still find a way to perform. Tell me any other team in the Premier League, right, where you lose your starting goalkeeper and your number one striker, arguably your two best players, and you still perform to a similar ability. That's a testament to Thomas Frank. He's done a fantastic job. So absolutely congratulations to him. I expect Brentford to have another really good season. I don't think they'll progress from last season just because it's inevitable you won't without Ivan Toney for 6 months and David Raya as well. I don't know about this new goalkeeper, this Flecken guy. Doesn't really take my fancy to him the same as David Raya. But I don't think they'll scrap for relegation either. I think they'll do decent, mid-table. And then hopefully the season after, they could look to progress and maybe do what Brighton did last season and fight for Europe and try and get in those places. Do you have Kane on the back of that Bayern shirt? No, I don't. But you know why with a Bayern shirt? I did it for Kane, obviously. So that was a good Easter egg you spotted. I've got Alphonso Davies on the back. I watched Kane get 30 minutes yesterday. Yes. Oh, my God. Bayern Munich lost 3-0 yesterday to RB Leipzig. I saw another stat, right, that said when Harry Kane joined Tottenham, it was 2009. The last time Tottenham won a trophy was a 2008 Carling Cup. So maybe Harry Kane was the problem. And we saw yesterday Bayern Munich lose to RB Leipzig 3-0 in the final in their home stadium. Now that's got to hurt. That's got to hurt for me. But look, Harry Kane's a top player. He'll do fantastic things for Bayern Munich. I can't wait to see what he does in the Champions League, especially with Gnabry and Leroy Sané either side of him. I think he'll be a terrific player there. Hey, brother, I'm back up to yesterday. Jordan, I hope you're well. Obviously, I know what happened with your cousin and stuff. Hope it's going well, my friend. Hope you and your family are recovering well from it. It's a London thing with the pitches. Yeah, I mean, look, there's so many London teams in the Premier League nowadays, right? And the thing is, I was also surprised, right, that like Brentford and Chelsea played at home on the same day. Now, obviously, Brentford aren't a big enough team, but normally, for example, Arsenal and Tottenham can't play at home in the same match week, but Brentford and Chelsea can. Brentford and Chelsea can. I guess because even though they're both West London, they haven't got enough. I guess because Brentford Stadium's so small, the GTEC Community Stadium, whatever it's called, right, that police can afford to accommodate both games. Maybe it's just one of those things. I was actually interested to see, what would have happened should this game had overrun by maybe, let's say, 20 minutes, and then it would have impacted the Chelsea-Liverpool game, because Sky Sports have to televise both matches, right? So if this game had overrun, what do they do with the Chelsea-Liverpool game? Does that get delayed as well? Or does that get shown on another channel? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, but that's a really interesting one to see what happens there. I think the record is 8 out of 20 for London clubs in the season. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, even Luton aren't a million miles away from London. I mean, their airport is registered as London Luton Airport. So, I mean, you could basically count them as well, right? But yeah, what's your thoughts for Brentford and Tottenham going into this season, guys? What's your expectations for both these football clubs? Because obviously Tottenham without Harry Kane, the expectations in terms of trophies aren't there. Obviously, you'd say with Harry Kane, under Conte, under Mourinho, Tottenham fans were thinking, we want a trophy. Not necessarily the Premier League, but the FA Cup or Carabao Cup at least. Now, without Harry Kane, it seems like Tottenham in a rebuild. And it's a rebuild that was very much needed for Tottenham. They could not rebuild with Harry Kane. It would have made no sense. Harry Kane is that good of a striker. There was no point rebuilding. So I think Harry Kane actually inadvertently held Tottenham back, in my opinion. And it's crazy to say, given how good a player Harry Kane is. But it's just because, look at what Harry Kane does on the football pitch, right? He's just a pure, out-and-out, brilliant player. Top goal scorer. If Erling Haaland wasn't here, Harry Kane would have been the top goal scorer last season. I'm confident saying that, right? So with Harry Kane in your team, you can't just afford to just go, we're going to blow it up and rebuild. It makes no sense. You've got to build around Harry Kane. But with Kane gone now, Tottenham realised there's no real star player. You could say Son, but I wouldn't put Son in the same bracket as Harry Kane. Harry Kane was their star player. Son's just an outstanding player. So now they can actually afford to fully blow it up and rebuild. I think that's required for Tottenham Hotspur. If the fans get behind Ange Postecoglou, if the fans really unite, you can have something really special there. I think Arteta set the blueprint for what to do at football clubs needing to rebuild, especially at bigger clubs. Because when Arteta came in, right, obviously Arteta, it was his first job. A lot of Arsenal fans divided on the appointment. Many saying, what we're doing, we're signing a guy that's laid out the cones for Pep Guardiola. Others saying, no, give him a chance. He's come from the Barcelona, Pep Guardiola Academy, etc. But after about a season or two, the fans really united behind Mikel Arteta, and you see the fruits of his labour. So I think the Tottenham fans need to unite. Obviously, we heard the chants today. They were chanting Ange's name. So I feel like the Tottenham fans are fully in support of Ange, and that's a really important thing. If the fans get behind Ange and they support him fully with his decisions, then you can get some really good things today. Obviously, Ange has still got to change a lot of things. He went with a back four today, which is good. I think Tottenham should not be playing a back five. I think it's really good. I think Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero can form a good partnership. Obviously, we hope Christian Romero gets back on the pitch ASAP. It was a bit unfortunate what happened to him. I think it was was it concussion or something like that after his goal? So there's a lot to happen there. Obviously, I think also Emerson Royal playing him in midfield. I mean, it's a crazy experiment, but it seems to work. At the start, when I saw Emerson Royal on the team, first I forgot he was playing. I thought, why was not Pedro Porro playing? I forgot he was still at Tottenham, Emerson Royal. For some reason, I thought he'd left. Then I saw him slot into midfield and I was thinking, you know what? If the brother can't defend, you might as well put him in midfield. So look, it was working. Every team seems to want to run this inverted fullback nowadays. And if Emerson Royal can pop up in there and get some goals, why not? As I said before, I thought Bissouma played a fantastic game in midfield. He was really good. Obviously, Oliver Skipp, I'm not a fan of him one bit. I don't know why he still starts for Tottenham. Some Tottenham fans will go, nah, he's good. He's young. He gives everything for the badge. I get it. Look, a lot of you Tottenham fans would give everything for the badge as well if you're on the pitch. You wouldn't be good enough either. I think Oliver Skipp needs to be moved on, or at least just should not start games for Tottenham. But then again, Bentancur is injured, right? And Bentancur would be a starter. I thought he was one of Tottenham's best players before his injury last season. Let's see when he's back. Hopefully not too long for Tottenham. Then you're looking at midfield, right, of Bentancur, Bissouma, and Maddison. And for me, that's a really good midfield three. Bentancur is the one that sits. You got Bissouma, who's a bit more of a box-to-box, energetic player. Then Maddison, who's a creator. And I thought Maddison had a fantastic debut today. So if you look at that, then you've got Son, Richarlison, Kulusevski. You got the back four, as I said, of maybe Pedro Porro, Emerson Royal, Mickey van der Ven, Christian Romero, and then either Destiny or Udogi or you got Ben Davies in there. And of course, the keeper, who I'm not a massive fan of, by the way, that goalkeeper was suspect with his feet. I will say that for a fact. So he could look like another Kepa Arrizabalaga, to be real with you guys. But when I look at that Tottenham team, on paper, it's not bad. Genuinely, it's not a bad team whatsoever that I'm seeing. So, look, I think Andrew's got a decent team he's inherited. Obviously, it's not a top quality team. It's not a team that should be fighting for the title. But I don't think it's as bad as people think. And maybe losing Harry Kane could be a good thing for Tottenham overall. It allows them to adapt, see, and obviously play a more team-oriented style and not just focus on Harry Kane getting you all the goals. I think long-term it could prove some success. Look, and obviously I don't know an awful lot about him. He was at Celtic. He's of Australian and Greek descent. Didn't watch him when he was in Australia at all. But one thing I always look at with managers, less tactics and all that. When they first come into a job, I want to see how they hold themselves. And from what I've seen of Ange on Instagram, on YouTube, clips I've seen of him, he holds himself to a really high regard. And I have to respect that for a manager. I like a manager that obviously talks well about his players, obviously understands the game, talks in a very dignified manner, understands football, has morals, has principles. And I think Ange embodies all of that. So I think he'll be a really good manager for Tottenham Hotspur. I think they've done really well to appoint him. At the time, I won't lie to you guys, I wasn't a fan of the signing. I thought, why didn't you go for Julian Nagelsmann, for example? But look, they brought in Ange, and I think it will be a good appointment overall. That's just my thoughts there. I don't expect Brentford to have as good a season, second season syndrome. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it would be their third season in the Premier League, right? I think they won't have as good a season purely because of Ivan Toney and David Raya's departure. Other than that, I think they're solid. I think, look, once you make it to 3-4 seasons in the Premier League, you're basically in there now. You're not really fighting for survival no more. You're solidifying in the Premier League. Obviously, don't get complacent and think that you're obviously going to survive every season. But I think Brentford are at a stage now where they're Premier League solidified. They shouldn't be looking down, worried about the drop. Obviously, like I said, don't get complacent. But I think they've built a good enough system, a good enough team here with Thomas Frank. Obviously, supplemented with certain signings. I think Brentford now should be looking, maybe not this season because of the unfortunate miss to Ivan Toney because of his gambling issue, right? And obviously, David Raya's departure. I don't know about this Flecken guy. But I think the season after, Brentford should be looking at Brighton, should be looking at Newcastle, Aston Villa, and should be looking upwards and trying to displace those teams and try and make a push for Europa Conference League. Look, if Brighton can make the Europa League, if Aston Villa can make the Europa Conference League, given Aston Villa were in a relegation scrap under Steven Gerrard last season, anything's possible in the Premier League. If you catch momentum, if you catch fire halfway through the season, good things can happen. So Brentford need to stay afloat. And then when they get Ivan Toney in January, that'll be like a brand new signing all over again. Make a push. And who knows? Maybe they could go for a top half table finish again and go on from there. I see both of them in the 8 to 12 range. I agree with that one for a fact. I think Tottenham could push up to 6th or 7th, but it will be a real good effort. Real good effort, especially with how good Newcastle played yesterday, man. Like Newcastle really surprised me. They're going to be a tough team to beat. Then obviously you expect Chelsea to improve. Liverpool can't get any worse. So I'm thinking if I'm Tottenham Hotspur, if I was Tottenham, I hate saying this. I don't like having 3-hit seasons. I think that concept shouldn't exist. But if I'm Tottenham, genuinely, I wouldn't be too worried about trying to fight for top 4, fight for Europe. I think you should just understand that it's a process right now. And as long as the Ange implements what he wants to implement, don't worry about all the external factors. Don't be sitting there going, oh, we need top 4. Oh, we need Europa League. Don't worry about that. Just worry about performances on the pitch. If you're liking what you're watching from Ange, that should be enough if you're a Tottenham fan. And I know saying that some fans will say, oh, the football's about glory. I mean, Tottenham's motto is the game's about glory, right? They're going to sit there and go, what do you know? Like, we should be fighting for titles. You should be playing the game to win it. You shouldn't have this defeatist attitude. And I understand that, but only one team can win the Premier League each season. And the majority of the time, it's Man City, right? So if you're Tottenham Hotspur, don't be fixated on winning the Premier League. Don't be fixated on points. Don't be fixated on results. We have to win this game by the nick of our teeth. Look at the performances. If you're Tottenham Hotspur, right, and you're drawing games or you're losing games, but the performances are good overall, I wouldn't be too worried because that means you're pushing in the right direction. You're building a sustainable brand of football. On the content, the start of the season, you were getting results, but the performances were crap. And it looked crap and it caught up to you about midway through the season. The bad performances started to then translate into bad results. It got really toxic. Lo and behold, you finish out of all European spots. Conte goes, Stellini goes, and you rip it all up and start again. Performances are what matter. Today was a really good performance. You didn't win the game, but I thought the performance was really good from Tottenham. If you get more performances like this, you'll get a lot of results, A, but B, you'll feel a lot of confidence with the fans and with the players and with Ange, and it will start to spell into really good things for the football club. I promise you when I say that. Staying up is good for Brentford. I guess, yeah, look, they're not a massive club whatsoever, Brentford, so staying up would be good. And I think they have to understand that this season they probably won't hit their same heights as the seasons before, just because, obviously, of Ivan Toney and David Raya's departure. But I think they should understand that there's still something to push for if you're Brentford, and try and go up the table if you can. In my prediction, I had Spurs 9th and Brentford 10th. So yeah, very similar. In my opinion as well, I think it could be very similar for them as well. Watched Ange at Celtic. They play good football, but how can you compare Scottish League? It's Mickey Mouse. Brendan Rodgers is back at Celtic. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So Ange obviously is unproven in a big league. I don't count managing Celtic or Rangers. I mean, you saw Steven Gerrard when unbeaten with Rangers comes to the Premier League and stinks up at Aston Villa. So do you get what I mean? Like it's chalk and cheese sometimes. So let's see what he does, man. I gotta give the man time and see what he puts up. Hi Luca, hope you're doing well, my friends. You okay? You're doing well. Spurs Brentford was a game any good? First half was really good. Second half was a bit deadpan, I can't lie. But the first half was really interesting. Be interested to see this next match. I think Liverpool can get worse. Very thin in midfield and defense. Yes, of course I will be streaming after Liverpool versus Brentford, Liverpool versus Chelsea. So I will be wrapping up this stream very, very shortly. I'm sorry it's a short one. Blame the water problem at Brentford and the 11 minutes added on at half time. But yeah, I agree. Look, Liverpool's team really surprised me. You got Gakpo in midfield. How will he fare? Very attacking lineup from Liverpool for sure. For Chelsea, obviously you're seeing Jackson start up front. How will he do? I think it'll be a really interesting match. Obviously, the last few times these teams have played, it's finished 0-0. So absolute deadpan game. But hopefully this time, interesting fixtures. Let's see what happens. But yeah, to wrap up this match right here, Brentford 2, Tottenham 2 at the GTEC Community Stadium. It's a game that both teams actually thought played well in. Both had positive signs overall. I think both teams will come away with the point happy for an absolute fact as it's something to build upon. For Anthony's first game at Tottenham, he'll understand that there's certain things he needs to improve upon, especially the defense, given they leaked 2 goals. And look, the defense was one of the worst parts of their team last season. They were one that had one of the worst records defensively. But he also understand that life without Harry Kane will have some turbulence and Tottenham will have to build from that. He'll be happy with Bissouma and Maddison's performance, especially. I thought them two were very good. And I think it's something for Tottenham to build upon. They've got some fixtures coming up that could be tricky, but I think Tottenham, for the most part, should be able to deal with them. Go to watch Chelsea versus Liverpool soon. Back later. What are you expecting? I have a feeling it's going to be a bit of a ball draw, 0-0. Yeah, I'm expecting a draw as well. I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw for Liverpool versus Chelsea. But yes, I'm going to wrap up this stream now, guys. I appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Subscribe if you are new around here. On my road to 5,000 subscribers. I'll be streaming straight after Chelsea versus Liverpool. So make sure you hit the bell notifications and come straight back here after that game. I've been wonderful. I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. And I hope to catch you all in my next stream. Take care.